Welcome to another episode of Tiny Nest. I'm Kiva.
And I'm Jake. This series is following our tiny house project from the early stages through to completion and beyond.
In this episode, we show a couple quick things that we've done to care for our wheels. We know that you're supposed to protect your tires from the sun, so we just threw together these kind of shoddy plywood covers for our tires, and it has reached the point where we finally decided to get tire covers, and these are the ones that we got. 2 come in a box, so we got 2 boxes because we have 4 wheels, and we're just gonna put them on and see how they work. So they fit nice and snug. We initially wanted black ones, but we thought that they would get hotter in the sun, so the white was standard, so we just got those ones.
So these wheels haven't turned in well over a year now, probably 16 or 18 months. And we do have these covers on them, which really help to prevent the rubber from degrading from the elements. But I'm sure it's not good for them to sit. Like, obviously they're being squished at the bottom where the weight is, you know, what a tire looks like when it's got weight on it. And also the bearing and the hub or whatever of the wheel is also just sitting there unturned. So I figured that without going through the whole process of actually pulling the house, we have thought about like pulling the house around the block once a year, but we haven't gotten to that this year. So as a sort of halfway maintenance thing, what I'm going to attempt to do here, it's a bit of an experiment, is see if I can turn the wheel basically upside down. And obviously there's a bunch of weight on it, and the friction against the ground is way more than I could possibly turn. But so originally I was thinking, oh, am I going to have to like jack up the whole house somehow, get like a big beefy jack and get them off the ground. But then I realized that we do have the stabilizer jacks on all 4 corners, which are deployed, and weight-wise, like just putting dead weight on them, they could easily handle all the weight of the house and then some. That's not, definitely wouldn't want to have the house just on the stabilizer jacks, because the point where they connect at the top, I believe that that's kind of weak in terms of if the house were to get pushed side to side by, like, say, super strong wind or something, I think it could like snap. But in terms of just straight up dead weight, it can handle tons. So what I'm going to attempt here is, I've got my crappy little car jack here and some jack stands, and I'm going to just put a little bit of pressure on the axle. I'm going to climb in there and awkwardly basically relieve a little bit of the weight there, so that I can let some air out of the tire, and the springs of the suspension won't account for that air coming out by pressing down further. They'll have nowhere to go, so it'll actually relieve the pressure against the ground, and hopefully I can basically deflate the tire enough so that the friction against the ground is reduced, that I can spin the thing. So I'll spin it around a couple times, just get it moving back and forth, and then make sure I leave it in the opposite position from where it is now. So I'll give it a go. So I've got the jack under there, and I just gave it a couple tweaks. So let's just see how far I can deflate this. All right, so I've basically got it deflated all the way. Like my gauge doesn't even show anything, but it's still way too much friction to turn. So I'll see about jacking it up some more. Be careful, I just don't want to overdo it. We have had these tires up off the ground when we were dealing with the how the linkage flipped when basically lifted the whole trailer up using only the stabilizer jacks. The linkages had flipped upside down. To correct that, we jacked some things here and the thing actually came off the ground. So I know it's like totally fine for that to happen. So I'm gonna see about just getting this up a little bit more so that I can turn this. Yeah! All right, so I was about to come out and say I don't feel comfortable jacking it any more than that, but it was just enough. So there we go. So all I need to do is remember that I could make a mark or whatever, but I'm just gonna remember that this H188ST, it's different on the bottom, so that's what I'm gonna have on the bottom. Ooh. A little bit of scratchy sound there. Oh no, we're good. So shy of testing the brakes, which I'm not really in a position to mess with right now. I mean, this is pretty much all I can do. Just make sure that it's not seized. Give it a little spin, just in case there's the grease in there has settled or anything. Just just get it turning, and then I'm gonna leave it so now it's upside down from where it was before. So for re-inflating it, I think I'll do it part way, like almost all the way up, and then let it down and just check it once it's settled again, and then put the cover back on, and then that'll be it, and I'll have to do this times 4. So I've been inflating it, and pretty quickly, not even like half the PSI rating that I'm going to inflate it to, it was no longer turnable. So it really was a combination of deflating it and jacking it up that allowed me to turn it. So it worked out really well. I should also point out that I've got this gauge built onto this inflating adapter thing, and I checked a little like car pressure gauge thing, and I'm getting a little bit of a different reading off by at least 5 psi. So I don't know which one to trust. I'll probably just inflate it a little bit shy of the max rating, because obviously it doesn't need to be inflated all the way when it's just sitting here, and I don't want to overinflate it just in case that's like stresses the rubber. I don't know if that's a thing, but just thought I'd point that out. So I figured while I was at it, I might as well make sure that all the lugs are tightened, just in case there's been like temperature expansion, contraction that's changed it. Might as well. Let's make sure everything's up to par. So I grabbed, I've got a bunch of documentation from Iron Eagle when we bought the trailer. So this is the manual for the axles, and I found a chart for the torque values. So 6-lug pattern talks about, alternating like the order in which to tighten and everything, and then says pretty much 90 foot-pounds of torque. So I've got this handy dandy little electronic torque adapter thing. So rather than it being like a mechanical torque wrench, there's just like a sensor inside that provides a readout on a little screen. It's actually really awesome. And I've tested it against a mechanical torque wrench to make sure that it is accurate, and it's totally good, so I trust it. So I'm just gonna let's make sure that these guys are up to about 90. Yeah, they're all good. I'm sure they'll all be good, but no harm in checking while I'm down here doing stuff, so.
If you want to see some of our previous videos, click on the preview tiles, and subscribe if you want to follow our progress. You can also visit our website here. Shall we do it?
No, that was good.
Okay. They're like fuzzy on the inside. They seem... felt a bit awkward.